Hello everyone, Dr. Paul here, and we're going to go through a brief little discussion about what is arthritis. Everyone's heard of it, everyone's been told that they have it at some point in time, but what is it? Basically, arthro means joint, itis means inflammation, so arthritis is just inflammation of a joint. But why is it there? Well, we have two main types of arthritis. We have the major kind that most people experience, the degenerative kind, osteoarthritis, where we get the cartilage and the cushions between the bones of the joints are wearing away over time. The other kind is an autoimmune type of arthritis, which you're typically born with, named rheumatoid arthritis. This needs more dietary and medical management than the osteoarthritis does, which is the degeneration of the joints. On x-rays, we can definitely see the osteoarthritis building up. We can see joint spaces decreasing, we can see stress lines along the bones, and we can just tell where there's excess bone that's built up as well, because when there's poor movement of a joint, when a joint becomes compromised, the body's going to want to build up more bone in that area to protect it. What that would look like on an x-ray is something like this. You see the cloudiness around the joint, as well as the bones offshooting or osteophytes off each side of the joint. That means there's excess wear and tear going on in that area. Also, joint spaces, we would see a nice joint space in this knee, less of a joint space in this knee where it started to degenerate and become arthritic. In the neck, same things. As chiropractors, we look at the spine the most. So we look at the disc spaces. When those begin to degenerate, there's less padding for all those vertebrae and all those joints to be moving. Arthritis is going to set in. We'll see bone spurs or osteophytes off the front of the vertebrae the most. Some will even go top and bottom and surround that disc space. So who suffers from it? Everybody. If you're a human being and you're on planet Earth, you will get arthritis at some point in your life. That's due to gravity constantly pulling down on us so we don't float off into outer space. We're upright creatures, gravity pulls down, it's just a lot of compressive loading on all the joints within our bodies. So what does it mean? Absolutely nothing. Like I just said, it's a normal process that's going to occur. You don't have to change your life, you don't have to become less active. Actually, becoming less active is the worst thing you could do. The more you can move, the better you're going to be, the better mechanics those joints are going to maintain. Here's a good chart that shows arthritic and degenerative changes in asymptomatic people, so people that do not have any pain at all. And it goes by decade of life. So we're going to start with disc degeneration, which ultimately will lead to arthritis within the joints of the spine. People in their 20s, 37% of people in their 20s have disc degeneration and have no pain whatsoever. When you get up into your 80s, 96% of people have disc degeneration but have no pain from it at all. Let's go to facet degeneration. This is arthritis directly in the facet joints of the spine. Again, in the 20s, 4% of people in their 20s already have degeneration of the joints in their spine, with no pain, however. When you get in your 80s, 83% of people have this degeneration and are asymptomatic and are living their normal lives with no pain. Arthritis and activity, what's it mean? You may just have to alter some movements here and there. You want to keep moving, you can still play golf, you can still play pickleball, you can still go for runs and walks. You may just have to warm up better, stretch afterwards, and maybe not push it as much while you're playing. You're going to have a little bit less range of motion due to the degeneration of the joints, such as in the golf swing. You may not have as big of a backswing as you did when you were 20 years old. You may just go straight back to where your front arm's parallel to the ground and then go forward through the downswing. You don't have that big turn, say like Dustin Johnson or Rory McIlroy are going to have. You're going to have to alter your game. But I mean, for instance, Bernhard Langer here has been playing for, it seems like, till the end of time, and he's still winning majors on the senior tour and playing probably better golf now than he was when he was younger. So that doesn't mean you can't still play whatever sport you want at a high level for your age. Things you need to do: work on your strength, work on mobility to keep the joints moving, stretch. When we stretch, we take the compression out of the joints. So when the muscles get tight, they squeeze down on all those joints. By stretching, we're going to take that squeezing of the joints away and unload and take the pressure off of them, and they can relax and get healthy blood flow in there to keep the cartilage that is still there as healthy as possible. Other stuff you can do: swimming and water exercises are great, because not only does the water take some of the pressure away, it unloads things because we're buoyant, we will naturally float a little bit in the water, but it also, due to the pressure of the water, will act like a massage. So you're going to get a lot of great fluid movement through the entire body by doing water exercises. Other things to do: well, this is one thing most people struggle with as a whole, especially in our country, and that is our diet. Eating an anti-inflammatory diet is going to be one of the best things you can do for pain. So if you're suffering from pain, it doesn't matter what it's from, getting an anti-inflammatory diet is going to go a long way for decreasing that pain. You can also supplement for the joints as well as a consistent exercise routine. Nutrition. How do we get an anti-inflammatory diet? Foods that fight inflammation. These are what we should be eating. Some people eat a lot of them. Most people don't, or we eat it in an unhealthy form, such as tomatoes. We'll eat sauces such as barbecue sauce, ketchup, hot sauce, but we're not eating the actual tomato. I understand if you don't like tomato, that's not the only thing you can eat. There's a lot of other stuff out there, but tomatoes are in their whole form is one thing you can eat for anti-inflammatory purposes. Fruits. A lot of fruits have anti-inflammatory purposes, or properties, But however, fruits need to be eaten in moderation because they do have a lot of sugar. It's natural sugar, so it's not terrible for you, but we still need to watch that for the glycemic index. Nuts, such as almonds and walnuts. Peanuts, actually, though they're high in protein, they're known as to be one of the dirtier nuts, so it's not as healthy as, say, an almond or a walnut would be. Olive oil. The one thing with olive oil, the darker the better. The darker the olive oil, it's going to expire a lot sooner, but it's going to be the healthiest for you and have the highest concentration of healthy fats, which is going to lead into fatty fish or a fish oil. Omega-3 fats, very anti-inflammatory. Our ratio should be at least 2-to-1 of those. Unfortunately, our ratio is 1-to-6 of omega-3 to omega-6, as we're extremely high in the unhealthy omega-6 fatty acids. We need to reverse that to be in a normal anti-inflammatory state. And then the leafy greens. You've been preached your whole life how good dark leafy green vegetables are for you, and that holds true in this case as well. The easiest thing, if you don't want to change your food, the easiest thing you can do to help your inflammatory state is to drink more water. Water's naturally inflammatory. Over the mass majority of our body is made out of water in one form or another. Boosting that intake is going to help you a lot in your overall health, but also your pain and inflammation levels. Supplements. We mentioned we got all these great food options. Sometimes that's not enough. We need supplements as well. So turmeric and black pepper extract are great anti-inflammatory supplements. They need to be combined together, however. That's why they're in a box here, because the black pepper will make the turmeric more absorbable within the body. Other ones, grapeseed extract, fish oil, restoring that good omega-3 to omega-6 fatty acid ratio that I just spoke about. Getting a fish oil is going to go a long ways. Glucosamine. Glucosamine is going to provide nutrition to the cartilage within the joints that is starting to wear away due to the degenerative process. So supplementing with glucosamine will go a long way to keeping whatever cartilage is still left as healthy as possible. Then let's go on down to vitamin D here. Everyone knows vitamin D and bone health. You can get this through a supplement or just getting outside in the sunlight. A lot of people right now are kind of steering away from the sunshine because of skin cancer risks, and I completely understand that, but we do need some exposure to direct sunlight to get enough vitamin D in our bodies. Certain exercises to do. Really, any type of exercise is going to go a long way for you in combating arthritis. But working on the glutes, such as with the glute bridge, maybe even a lunge, those are going to go a long ways. Any type of big muscle strength is going to just make the body stronger, and I like to say a strong body is a healthy body. So doing some deadlifts, foam rolling and stretching will go a long way. Stretching the glutes, stretching the hip flexors as well. Any of the big major muscle groups are going to have a big impact on the healthier body. If that doesn't work, what can you do? Well, chiropractic helps with arthritis tremendously. It keeps the joints moving, restores proper motion into segments that aren't moving as well. So think of if you've got the front end of your car and one side is functioning optimally, the other side is a little, we'll say, out of alignment, or the bearings just aren't rotating the way they need to be, you're going to have more wear and tear on that side, right? The body's the same way. So let's say the L5 and S1 joints are arthritic and degenerative in you. The ones above that are going to start overworking, and then as a response to that, they're going to start to wear away as well. And it's just a snowball process from there. So keeping those joints moving is going to be very important for your long-term health. Physical therapy and strength programs, like I just said about how strong body is a healthy body. PT is great at strengthening the overall body as well, and giving you the proper exercises and stretches to do to correct whatever movement faults that you might be experiencing. Cold laser therapy as well. A lot of people haven't heard of cold laser, but it gets down to the cellular levels of the body and almost heals from the inside out. So these other two we can heal from the outside in. Laser therapy heals from the inside out. So it's a great adjunct to meet in the middle and just speed up the entire healing process. They've done a lot of studies with laser on knee degeneration primarily, where they took a control group of patients and one group had the laser therapy, one did not. And the group that did have the laser therapy, 96% of them did not get a knee replacement when they were already scheduled to need one within the next 10 years. That could have meant 15 years later they got one, but they put that off a lot longer and could still enjoy their life without going through that rigorous surgery. Other than that, if you ever have any questions, if this wasn't enough explanation, feel free to reach out. You can reach me personally on that email there, or drop by the office or give us a call. Thanks.